Hey, this is John Shingles of Lifetime Xteriors. Thanks so much for joining us. And today we're talking about the fourth reason you should not hire Lifetime Exteriors. And that's if you're getting a leak that is being caused by an ice dam. See, the thing is, if you replace your roof and install ice and water shield, you can still get leaks from ice dams if you don't address the root cause of the ice dams. So how are ice dams formed? Well, typically what happens is the warm air from the house gets into the attic. Then the attic warm air hits the roof. It melts the snow. As the melted water goes down the roof, it refreezes. And then again, the warm air from the attic hits that ice and it pushes up the shingles. And now water is getting inside your home and is a leak. So even if you use ice and water shield, which we use it on every single job here in the Chicagoland area, it will not stop ice dams from forming. It just helps prevent the leaks that are caused by ice dams. All ice and water shield is ice dam protection. It's not ice dam prevention. So how do you stop ice dams from being formed? You need to make sure that your attic is as close to the outside temperature as possible. In theory, your attic should be the same temperature as outside. So if it's 10 degrees Fahrenheit outside, your attic should be 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Here in the Chicagoland area, we have lots of homes with dual heating and cooling systems. In a lot of cases, people are putting furnaces in the attic and it's making it very warm, and that's what's causing the snow to melt prematurely, which then again causes a lot of issues. But most commonly here in the Chicagoland area, which we're seeing, is that people don't have enough attic insulation in their home. In our area, we are considered Climate Zone 5A. And for Climate Zone 5A, they recommend your insulation levels be at R60. That's almost 20 inches of insulation. But many attic inspections we do as a company, we're finding homes with sometimes only 4 inches of attic insulation. So they're very under insulated, which is why the attics are getting warm, melting the snow, and then freezes and then leaks inside the home. So number one, what are your insulation levels inside your home? Number two, is your attic properly ventilated? To achieve the same temperature inside your attic as the outside temperature, you need to have air from the outside enter your attic and have proper airflow. To have proper airflow, you need intake and exhaust. Intake typically happens through soffit venting, and exhaust ventilation typically happens through the roof vents, ridge vent, or attic fan. You want air to enter your home low and exit high. Now you will have to figure out how much ventilation is required for your home, and you will want to have a balanced system. So what this means is that your intake ventilation should equal your exhaust ventilation. And there's various calculators you can find online to see how much venting is required for your home. The problem is we see most often is that people have lots of exhaust ventilation, but they don't have nearly enough intake ventilation. The next thing you'll want to check is to make sure that your intake ventilation is not being blocked off. Many times we will see where insulation is blocking the edges of the attic, and this is not allowing the air from the soffit vents inside the attic. Not only does this potentially cause issues with ice dams, but we also see many issues with attic mold and attic moisture because there's not proper airflow. So many times you're going to have to do something called a block and baffle system. What this allows is the baffle allows airflow inside your attic even though there's insulation there. So if you don't have a baffle there, you can see how the insulation is pushed up against the edge of the attic. Once you install a block and baffle system, you take the insulation here and you block it off from insulation to be able to fall into the soffit venting. Now you have a clear channel for air to enter your attic from the soffit vents into your attic, and it's channeled through these baffles. On many roof installations, if somebody's having problems where their soffits are clogged, we can remove the plywood and install these smart baffles and actually nail them directly to the rafters. And this provides over 2 inches of airflow. So these smart baffles are some of the best baffles on the market to allow proper airflow. Now that you've learned the importance of attic insulation and proper attic ventilation, you'll have to take the economics into consideration. Sometimes it can be very costly to make sure that your attic has the proper insulation levels and is properly ventilated. If you're in a position where money is really tight, you may want to consider heat cables. All heat cables do is they heat up the edges of the roof, but you need to be very careful. This is not something I recommend you do. This is not something I recommend hiring a handyman for, or even a roofer. This is something you need to hire an electrician for because it is very dangerous. Thousands of fires have been caused by heat cables, so they need to be installed in good condition, and they should have their own dedicated circuit in your breaker box. If you're not in a position financially to hire an electrician to help with the ice dams, then the final thing and most cost-effective solution for dealing with your ice dams is buying a roof rake. And all a roof rake does is it helps you remove the snow from the edges of your roof. The roof rake needs to be long enough that it reaches your roof from the ground. You should never be climbing a ladder after it snows, because you will need to roof rake the edges of your roof after every snow to prevent those ice dams. Now you've learned reason number 4 not to hire Lifetime Exteriors. Make sure you tune into our next video for reason number 5. I'll see you there.